Hello and welcome to our panel today with our group of Profit First professional coaches. My name is Michelle Tolhurst and I'm one of the Profit First guides here at Profit First Australia and New Zealand. And I'd like to welcome all of our Profit First coaches, but I'm not going to introduce them. I'm sure they can do a much better job of that themselves. So let's go around. Fabio, welcome. Do you want to tell us a bit about who you are and your business?
Yes, I'm Fabio Funai. I am the owner of Profit First Solutions. So we use Profit First for hospitality businesses in general. I have over 20 years experience in hospitality, and that's the purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. Brendan.
Hi, everyone. So my name's Brendan, and I run two businesses. One is an outsourced IT company, and the second is the coaching IT companies. And so I utilize Profit First in both of those businesses, and love helping people implement it and transform how they're operating their businesses.
Thanks, Brendan. Katie?
So my name's Katie and I also run two businesses. So I've got my Profit First coaching business where I work specifically with tradies to help them implement Profit First in their business so that they can become permanently profitable. And then I also have a bookkeeping business again, which we work specifically with tradies.
Thanks, Katie. And Amy?
Hello, everyone. My name is Amy. I'm a really proud Profit First professional and the founder of Lady Without Limits. And basically, we teach mainly online business owners how to get in control of their business cash flow. I do one-on-one implementation sessions, and also I have an online course. So they're my true focuses within the business.
Thanks, Amy. And thanks, everybody, for introducing yourself. So what we're going to be doing today is exploring Profit First as a service for coaches. So if you joined us last week for our webinar, we went through the ins and outs and the technical aspects of Profit First and how it can be offered as a service offering for coaches. And today we are joined by our Profit First professionals who are actually going to share their personal experiences, how they've used Profit First in their own businesses, how they work with clients to use Profit First, and their experience of Profit First as a membership community. So first of all, what I'd like to ask our coaches is, how did you come to become a Profit First professional? So we have a range of coaches here. So some people from the very early stages of their certification right through to mastery level members. So there's a lot of different experience and levels within this group right here. So Fabio, would you like to start and just tell us a little bit about why you decided to become a Profit First professional?
Yes, so I have, I run 3 other catering businesses, and just after COVID, and obviously through COVID, we were in really bad shape as a business. And, you know, that's one of those things that you want to find a solution to. Don't let it go and try to find a solution. So I came across Profit First, the book, and the Audible as well. That's why I got introduced to Profit First. And then I implemented Profit First probably about, it's been 12 months now. And it's been an amazing experience for me. We turn around the businesses completely.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's pretty much the reason. You know, I was with the business in a really dark place and I needed some light.
And you are still at the beginning part of Profit First. So you're one of our newer members, probably about 6 to 8 months you've been with us, I think.
Yes.
And still going through the certification journey at the moment.
I am still through the certification, and obviously it's very rewarding because you see the actual value of being part of the Profit First community as well. Being expert within the hospitality business, I don't have any background in finance or bookkeeping, so but it still makes good to actually understand your numbers. and how to run your business. And there is a very big support from the community of the other coaches and the leaders and the guides within the community.
Thanks, Fabio. And Fabio does actually specialize in that hospitality industry, being from that background, which is fantastic. He has that niche. Brendan, do you want to tell us a little bit about your story and how you became a Profit First professional?
How long have I got?
A couple of minutes, Brendan.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Okay. So very, very quickly, in 2019, so I'd run an MSP, and the outsourced IT company, since 2007, and in 2019, I basically hit a slump, and didn't realize how bad a position financially my IT company was in, and I remember, I think it was $1.8 million of revenue and a 30 grand loss, and I couldn't even read a balance sheet. So I felt quite immature in that knowledge. And I remember someone telling me to read a book called Profit First, and I started reading it, and I was like, yeah, this is absolutely. So I implemented it, and implemented it within straight away, grabbed another outsourced IT company, and we kept each other accountable. We implemented it in his company, and we just kept each other accountable for months. Within 60 days, I was cash flow positive. Within 6 months, I repaid the negative. It was over $100,000 of negative net equity that I'd taken out of the business and didn't realize it. And so then I just loved, and I love helping people. So for me, it was like, okay, this is actually a huge issue for a lot of IT companies. And so I decided to go down the path of becoming Profit First certified. I didn't think I was going to fit, because I'm not a bookkeeper. Like Fabio said, I'm not a bookkeeper. I'm not an accountant. What right do I have to, guide people in that respect? And having a meeting with Laura from Profit First, I was just like, it made sense. So I went down that path, got certified. It's been a great family of other Profit First professionals, whether they're just getting certified in their start, or whether it's been they've been doing it for years, as Michelle said. But I think what that did for my business as well is, we merged those two IT companies together. So it started another journey, and then I actually created a second company to actually coach and specialize in IT companies and helping them. I loved adding value in that.
Thanks, Brendan. And Katie, what's your journey been like?
So I was introduced to Profit First, it must have been 2014-15, right after Mike wrote the book. At the time, I had a bookkeeping business. After swearing black and blue, I would never, ever work for myself. And then I did. And then I swore I would never be like every other business. And then I was working lots of hours, no cash left in the bank, all the usual. And then, like Fabio mentioned, I went searching for, there has to be a missing piece to this puzzle. There has to be a solution. And then that's when I come across Profit First. So I implemented it in my own business. And I had a bit of a rocky start with it. I did it for a bit, and then I stopped, and then I did it for a bit, and then I stopped. And then once I actually stuck to it, third time lucky, it absolutely turned my business around. And then I realized that I was able to do, prior to being a bookkeeper, I was a financial planner. So I've always had a background in finances, but I never felt like my bookkeeping business was a good fit for me. I felt like there was always something more. And when I come across Profit First, I was like, oh, that's my missing piece, where I can actually teach and educate clients around their numbers, so they can actually build their business to give them what they want, rather than just being told by their business that this is all the money you can have, or you have to do this or have to do that. So that was over 5 years ago now that I started my Profit First coaching business, and it has been an absolute game changer. Like, get to come to work every day and have fun with my clients and get to implement profit first in their businesses and take them from hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt in some instances to paying all that back and taking the wage they deserve and having holidays and buying investment properties and, you know, doing all those things. And it's just such a fun experience. And as I said, it was that missing piece that I knew was out there. I just didn't know what it was. And thankfully, I found it just over 5 years ago now. It's been super, super fun ever since.
Thanks, Katie. And you still do have your bookkeeping business, but you mainly focus on that profit first coaching now. Isn't that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got the bookkeeping business, and I never saw myself as a bookkeeper. It was something that I did because I thought I enjoyed it. Now I have an amazing team who love it and who are great at what they do. And I pretty much focus on my profit first coaching side 95% of the time. And I've built a team over there who love what they do, so I can love and do what I do in the coaching side.
Fantastic. Thanks, Katie. And Amy, how did you become a profit first professional?
So funnily enough, I feel like I have a very similar story to everybody on the call, where I found profit first after, you know, having a huge need for it myself. I was in the events industry and I basically failed in my first business because of a cash flow issue. And it wasn't because I couldn't actually sign clients and bring in really good money. It was just because I was really good at spending it. And I'm a yes person. I seize opportunities. And so I'm like, you know, say yes and then figure it out later. And it would work for me a lot of the time, but then a lot of the time it wouldn't work for me. And I realized that, like Brendan, I just had no idea about the financials. I couldn't read my statements. And I started to feel as though I would never be successful in business because of the finances. And so I ended up finishing in that business because I was just so burnt out, and the solution of profit first wasn't in front of me at the time. And it wasn't until I was doing some soul searching and figuring out my next moves that I actually came across profit first. And it was like this lightning bolt moment. I was like, oh my goodness. So I implemented it in my own business at that stage. At that time, I was doing some consulting work, and also I was heavily learning about digital marketing and starting to coach other people about digital marketing. And all of my conversations ended up being about money and not really understanding their profit and loss and their goal setting and you know, how to manage the cash flow. And I just realized that it's a huge issue and that it's pretty much the foundation of every business. If you've got that financial foundation in place, then you can be really successful and know where you're going. And just after some more Google searching, I really didn't realize that there was an Australian whole organization of profit first professionals. I thought that it was just the book and there wasn't much else to it. But then I did a Google search and found Australia Profit First Professionals. And I was like, oh my goodness, it was just like it was calling to me. And so I had a call and I decided that I was going to go down the process of becoming certified and teach other business owners like myself how to implement it into their business so that then they can go and be successful. And I'm not going to lie, still to this day, Brendan mentioned it before. He's like, who am I to teach people the finances, because I'm, haven't come from the financial world. And that still does come up for me sometimes, that negative self-talk, who are you? You're not an accountant or a bookkeeper. But actually, I can't tell you how much that just gets thrown away when I'm meeting with calls every week and I've got business owners going, oh my God, this just makes sense. I feel so organized. And you just relate to me so much. You speak my language. And that to me is what it's all about. It's all about actually connecting with other business owners and teaching them the process. It doesn't matter that I haven't come from a financial background. It's that they're getting transformations, and that's all that really matters.
Thanks, Amy. There's lots of similar stories here, as well as really different ones. That everyone has seen that transformation. I love it that everyone's come from such a different industry, and that's where they're focusing on now as well. So the next thing I'd like you to share with us is, how do you actually offer Profit First as a service? And I know that you all do it so differently. So I'm sure those that are listening are going to be really excited to hear about how you're actually offering Profit First as a service. So Fabia, I know you're at the very beginning of your Profit First journey, but you have still worked with a couple of clients. So how are you offering Profit First as a service? Or how do you see that happening for you in the coming months when you become certified?
So it's mostly through contacts within the hospitality. As I said before, I've been in hospitality for over 20 years, and I experienced the pain of being a business owner myself, especially through COVID and the difficult situation that we went through in Sydney or in Australia or in the world in general. And it's basically through contacts and talking with people about Profit First, how much it has changed my business, how much you actually don't need to know about finance or bookkeeping to still be able to progress and do what you need to do for Profit First. And it's been working really great because, as Amy was saying, the other business owner within the hospitality business, they feel you're talking the same language. You don't come from a place where you don't have the experience. You actually have the experience within the same field where they are. You can share your story about how Profit First have changed your business and your life in general, because obviously that's everything connected. As when you are a business owner, whatever pain you have through the business, it comes into your personal life as well. And it's been great. It's been a good journey, a good understanding of other situations within the hospitality business. I worked in hotels, restaurants. Now I have my own catering business as well, so I have that broad experience across the hospitality industry. And people, if they, I guess, they feel connected with you and you sort of create the trust, and you actually know what you're saying and that you have experience, they trust you in with their money. And that's my journey so far.
Thanks. Sorry,
yeah.
continue.
In terms of being with just little steps with the business owner, if they make sense, and again you speak their language, they actually see the value and the reward once you start implementing Profit First within the business. So that's great to see that you can actually support other people and avoid them to go through what you've been through as a business owner.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Fabio. Amy, I'd like to go over to you. So you're offering Profit First very differently than a lot of our members. So would you like to share with us what you're doing?
Yeah, sure. So I decided that I needed to make it work for my lifestyle and also, I guess, where my passion lies too. And that is in online course creation and digital marketing. And so I decided to create a Profit First kind of basics program and sell it through an online masterclass. So I've got an online masterclass that I teach, I guess, the 4 steps of Profit First and how Profit First can really change your life. And then they go through a program. And so the way that works is I have my online program and then I do 2 calls a week with my membership base or the people that have purchased the program. And I really love that because I find that the people that come to the calls, they get a lot of support from each other and from hearing other stories, as well as just asking their own personal questions. So it's a really great, tight-knit little community of people that are, supporting each other and being inspired. So I have the calls, but then I also do one-on-one kind of cash flow sessions. So someone might decide to add on a one-on-one with me to just delve deeper into their numbers if they feel like they are struggling or, to understand their percentages or to read their financial reports or whatever it is that they might need a little bit of detailed, personalized support with. They can purchase a 60-minute one-on-one consultation with me. So that's the way that I really utilize it. And in my business as well, I've really realized how important marketing is for business owners to actually have the money to then fill up those bank accounts. So I've partnered with an incredible marketing expert who, under the Lady Without Limits banner, also offers a marketing course. So the two, I find like the marketing and the money really complements each other.
Fantastic. Thanks, Amy. Brendan, how are you working with clients in that IT space?
Yeah, so basically what we do is we do an instant assessment. I do an instant assessment on them first to find out where they're at. And I guess taking a step back, one of the things I love about, and maybe this is another question for later as well, but one of the things I love about the Profit First community is the resources. And, even like this, listening to Amy, she's gone and adapted and change things around to suit her lifestyle. I think that's really, really important. But the flexibility is there. And so, yeah, we kind of, we've grabbed the resources. We're using like a bit of an assessment of finding out where the business is at, but then also going through, okay, where are you actually headed? You know, what are some of the things that drive you? Understand some of the, I guess, the motions that they go through. And a lot of people, I found some people to go, oh, I don't really have time for that. I just want it fixed. I don't have time to go through all the questions. So we've tried to condense that down a little bit and to keep it quite brief, but to still get the information that's important to engage with them like that. The other way that we do the instant assessment, we show where things should be. We give a basic set of tools so they could actually start from there. But we also then offer the one-on-one coaching where we will do an engagement for 3 months. And so that involves weekly calls, a fortnightly Teams call, that kind of thing. And we do that for a 3-month engagement.
Thanks, Brandon. And Katie, another different way of offering Profit First. What do you do for clients?
So for my clients now, a little bit like Amy, I have tried different things over the years and adapt and adjust for what works best for me and what I have fun doing. And for me, that is group coaching. So I've got 2 group programs, my Kickstart program, which is the sort of foundations of Profit First. And then they move into the accelerator program where we dive deep into different areas of their business and really focus on what their goals are, how they're going to achieve it, and all the different areas. You know, things like we do more cash flow forecasting, we look at their debt, pricing, there's a whole bunch of things that we look at for that. But I always start with the Kickstart program first to get everybody, whether they've brand new to Profit First or whether they've implemented it themselves, we always run through that so we get those foundations set up right. And then I will work one-on-one with clients, but I keep that to a handful of clients at best over the course of the year. And those clients, I call that my intensive. It's 12-week intensive where every week, and it's a very fast pace, let's get in and get it done. And that's for a really specific type of client, usually a larger business where they're working on the business rather than in the business. And they've got some really specific goals and they know Profit First is going to help them. And they're ready to kind of just get in and get it done.
Thanks, Katie. What I'd like our Profit First professionals to share is some kind of result that they have achieved with working with one of their clients. So Fabio, would you like to share something that you've achieved with one of your beta clients so far?
Yes. So my client is a dance studio. So it's something different from hospitality. However, it's still great because, you know, the methodology is the same. It's just being comfortable with the industry that you're working with. And it's been an amazing 3 months now with them. And we actually had a call yesterday. We have a call every couple of weeks on Mondays. And they did finally a full assessment of the expenses. And they were able to cut about $1,200 per month in terms of cost without changing the service they provide, without changing absolutely anything. They work in as well in creating some sort of a program for the teachers where will allow them to increase the revenue by giving them a little bit of, you know, motivation and incentives, monetary incentives. And we are been, you know, since I have the catering business, we actually working as well in putting together packages for parties when the studio is closed. So studio normally will be closed on Saturday afternoon and Sunday. So we will be working together to see if we can, you know, take advantage of the empty time slot for the business. And they're really grateful. They already done a couple of transfers in their profit account, which is, they sent me a screenshot yesterday, very exciting and rewarding. Some other things they do, normally when they have showcase or events, normally the teachers, they basically dance all day. They do over 300 dances through the day. And they normally get about like $1,500. The owner, for the last 3 or 4 years, never got any payments. Yesterday, he was able to pay himself as well for those additional dances, which is great.
Fantastic. So in just 3 months, you've made all those transformations in that business. Well done, and that's fantastic news. Thanks, Fabio.
Thank you.
Brendan, do you have a client story that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I've actually got my own story as well in terms of like where we went from the profit distribution being zero to, paying for a lot more things. But I do have a specific client, and I guess this is the encouragement as a coach, is that you don't know the impact you have sometimes on people. I think that's life, right? I think we don't know every interaction that we have, how it can impact. But I had an IT company call me, would have been early January this year, and he said he was so grateful for. He didn't even engage with me with coaching. He just did the initial assessment and some of the tools, and I think we had one meeting to go through what I found, and he rang me early January to say that because of what we had done together, the work that we'd done, he paid back a $400,000 bank loan in the period, and like from 12 months ago. And he rang me to thank me and to say how grateful that Profit First had been in his business, and I guess the insights that I shared with him, because I guess the thing that we have to bring is experience in that industry as well, and what can go, what costs can get cut. Are you getting the right price? All that sort of thing. So you're adding that experience as well, not just industry experience, not just the Profit First stuff. And so now he's referred me onto another client, and I'm actively working with him at the moment. And already we can see changes that have been made. He's now paying himself that he wasn't paying. It was taking too much out of the business, and it's put some frameworks in place for him to now grow and to find the gaps across his clients, across his team, across him as the business owner spending too much. So that's just a couple that come to mind.
Fantastic. Thanks, Brendan. Some really great stories there too. Like 400,000 in 12 months of debt paid off. That's an amazing thing. And you said you want to be able to help people. That's a huge accomplishment, and you must feel so good about that, to be able to help that client.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel great.
Katie, have you got a client story that you'd like to share?
Yeah, so similar ones. Savings expense review is one of the very first things we do with clients. So it's nothing for clients to be able to find 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 worth of savings over the course of the next year without cutting anything that's needed. So that's just unnecessary spending that they've been just doing unconsciously. Similar to Brendan, lots of debt reduction plans is another favourite process of mine. And finally giving people a light at the end of the tunnel with their loans that they feel like they're never going to pay them off. A big one for me is getting them to pay back the money that they've put into the business. So many business owners I see have put tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars into the business, and just say, oh, we'll get that back one day. We make that as part of their debt reduction plan, and having them pay that back to their personal funds so they can actually start living their life properly are probably the areas that just give me so much. It just makes it so much fun to see them when they finally start doing it and they finally start seeing the results. I don't think there's much better from a business perspective for me, to getting those clients those results and seeing them actually be able to sort of breathe a little bit better, and you can just sort of see the relief come over them once they can patch that leaky bucket and get those debts paid off. It makes a huge difference.
Fantastic. Thanks, Katie. And I guess in your industry of tradies, there's a lots of equipment and machinery and vehicles and all that will be those very large upfront costs. So that would be quite common across a lot of your clients, I assume.
Yeah, it sure is.
And Amy, do you have a story you'd like to share from one of your clients?
Yeah, so just generally, I really love seeing the clarity of business owners when they see their cash flow broken down by monthly averages and those percentages, because immediately they usually go, oh my goodness, aha, like that's what's actually going on in my business. And especially for a lot of businesses that do have really up and down cash flow, it can be really hard for them to have a grasp on how they're actually really performing, and those numbers can look quite big. So seeing it with the monthly averages, that to me, that aha is really cool. But I guess my favorite comments that come through where I really fist pump is when people tell me that, for the first time in their business, they've got tax waiting in their tax account, or, they've paid off the tax payment plan and they've got tax waiting for the next quarter. For me, that is a huge win, because I really struggle with tax in my business. So I can really feel that on an emotional level when they have that success. So that's just something that I, truly love.
Thanks, Amy. And I know you do need to leave very soon, but I'd also like you to share with us some results you've seen in your own business, if you'd like to go first.
Yeah, sure. So for me and my business, it's funny. My business has had a lot of evolution since I started, and I did go and invest a lot last year. And so for me, understanding profit first really kept me in check. And what I mean by that was I knew that even though I was investing more heavily in my business, I understood what it meant, and I was always ahead of my tax and things like that. So for me to, I guess, have the financial foundations in my own personal business and understand that no matter what I do, I know what I'm doing. I'm not just guessing anymore, which is what I used to do. So I guess, for me, it's just been incredible awareness, and I feel empowered and I feel unstoppable because I have that understanding. It's just been amazing.
Fantastic. Thanks, Amy. And I guess Profit First is a methodology that now enables us to be proactive rather than reactive with our finances, which is exactly what Amy has described. Thanks for sharing.
Exactly. You're welcome. I'm going to jump off now, but yeah, thank you so much, everybody. And I know that what everybody's going to share from here on in about actually Profit First and the support that you get as being a Profit First professional is absolutely phenomenal. So I'm excited for you to hear that. And thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Amy. Fabio, would you like to share an experience in your own business? How's Profit First changed your business?
Oh, it changed completely the way I run the business. I don't feel emotional about the business anymore, especially when you start a business. You have that sort of emotional connection without realizing that it's for you a tool to actually live your life. So once you get to the stage where you can disconnect and say, okay, that's business is, I build the business because obviously I love what I do, but it's as well to make money and support my lifestyle. The big change for me was about 12 months ago. I was still recovering from COVID. I had an ATO payment plan with over $90,000 to repay. I had about $25,000 with Amex credit card to be paid back. I was behind with my superannuation for about 14 months. Because obviously, I was putting my team members up front. I was not getting a salary every week. So it's been a completely change for me in that aspect. So in the last 12 months, I was able to pay the payment plan off completely. Credit card has been closed already. I'm paying the superannuation weekly basis now. Every time I do the payroll, I pay the super as well. I have money on my bus already ahead for the quarter. In fact, this quarter is the second quarter in a row that I have probably half of what I need for the following quarter already put aside. So it's been an amazing journey. I have, I don't know, almost $20,000 in my profit account as well. So it's been, a mind-blowing experience within my own business. And that's when you actually realize, it's just a matter of organize yourself and be consistent with what you need to do, and follow the process, follow the advice of the people that are helping you and guiding you through this journey. And that's what I wish, to share with other people, that knowledge, that support that have been given from the community to sit where I'm sitting at the moment.
Fantastic. That's some excellent results there, Fabio. Well done.
When every time I look back, it's like, where I was 12 months ago, that was just a different place.
Definitely. You must be able to sleep easier at night now, knowing that everything's taken care of.
Yes. Especially with the taxes. That's a big tick.
Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Katie.
So Profit First has done wonders for my business from the very start, but probably the most or the biggest achievement for me was for the period over the course of 2 years, my dad was quite sick and then my mum was quite sick, and I worked about 40% less in my business during that time, and I was able to have the most profitable year I'd ever had. I was able to hire 3 staff members. I was able to do things and make decisions in the business at a time when I was the most stressed in my entire life, really simply and easily, and still run a profitable business. And without Profit First, there is absolutely no way in hell I would have made it through that. The businesses wouldn't have made it through, and I don't know that I would have made it through either. And just having that framework and knowing that I have money aside for everything that I needed, and it just makes things so much simpler. So it's amazing when everything's going great, but for me, it has been a game changer when everything seemed to be going not great, that I could still take my wage, my staff could still be paid, I could grow my team, my clients were still happy, and that just couldn't have happened without having Profit First in place in the businesses.
Fantastic. Thanks, Katie. And it really has enabled you to become that person operating and doing everything to more that CEO role in your businesses too. And it's a transformation I've witnessed too over the last 4 or 5 years that I've known you as well.
Yeah, it certainly does. And that makes it much easier too. If that's what you want to do, if you want to be the CEO and work on the business, it makes it so much easier for you to transform into that role, because you know exactly what money you have, what you don't have, where you're going to use it, and so on. It just makes things so much simpler.
And there's one other part of your business that you haven't shared with us yet, something that you wrote. Did you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So I'm also the author of Profit First for Tradies. And I wrote that book almost 3 years ago now on May 5th. It'll be the third birthday. So my books arrived right in the middle of the first lockdown, which was an interesting time. And what I've realized and what I didn't realize when I said yes to that crazy idea was how many people that the book would be able to reach and be able to change lives. And for me, I really realized that one of the biggest things is the lives that I'll be able to change that I will never know that I've changed. Like that for me is my biggest thing at the moment. So getting the book out, it's on Audible, it's in all the regular online bookstores and so on. You can read the book and you can implement it yourself and see massive changes as well. And that is just something that I had no concept of when I said yes to doing that. So, yeah.
And that book, although it is called Profit First for Tradies, is not just for tradies. So even if you are in a different industry, it's the only Profit First Australian-based book that is actually available. And it does tackle things that are for Australian businesses like GST and the like. So if you haven't read Profit First and you are looking for a Profit First book to read, Katie's one is a good choice as well for all industries. So highly recommend it.
Just take tradie out and insert your business type there, and it'll work for any Australian business.
Thanks, Katie. And Brendan, do you have a result? You said before that you had a personal experience that you'd like to share.
Yeah. So I think when I implemented it, obviously in 2019, I said it was 60 days. We became cash flow positive after being in a deep pit, and like I guess for me it was like, why am I doing this? Like, I should just go get a job somewhere else. That's kind of the attitude. Like you feel really defeated, and you've been working all these years, and I think Fabio said before, the personal attachment to it, and within 60 days, by putting Profit First in place, we were cash flow positive. Within 6 months, I repaid it was negative $150,000 of net equity. So money I had taken out of the business from previous years, and it was sitting there on the balance sheet in a not a nice way. And so I had that as part of Profit First. Every quarter you're supposed to take 50% out of whatever's in the profit account, and the suggestion is that you take 1% of that and have a reward with your loved one or friend or whatever, or for yourself. And I remember I think it was the first 2 quarters or something, I think it was basically less than a cup of coffee. That was the 1%. And then I remember 12 months later, it was a night away, taking my wife to a 5-star hotel, and that was the 1% of the 50%. So that's the kind of transformation that happened. And that obviously then caused, then we had the merge of the 2 IT companies, which using Profit First as well. The other thing I just want to say is that it's really easy to paint a picture that putting Profit First in and all is good. Let's sit back. It's all going to work itself out. Personally, I found that it has been a great reminder that you need to keep your eye on the ball. And most businesses they get into a spot of bother when we've taken our eye off the ball. We get busy with other things. We don't put a focus on that, or we don't have the right people in place to protect that. And so even just recently for us, because we had Profit First in place, we had reserves and different things like that. But there was taking your eye off the ball. We'd lost a couple of clients, and these things happen. You lose a couple of clients, that's a revenue drop. You need to reevaluate your percentages. You need to reevaluate your costs. You need to, okay, have I got the right people on the team? Have I got, are we spending too much money, et cetera, et cetera. So I guess I just wanted to say that I think it creates a framework for success, but you do need to keep your eye on the ball. And great rewards and great things happen, like we've heard today.
So on that as well, it's a good example. What I always say to my clients is Profit First will tell you what the business is doing. Don't ignore it. You can't just put it in, get it all up to date, and then ignore it. You have to listen. You have to watch for those red flags.
Yeah.
And when set up properly, when you work with a certified Profit First professional, that review process every week can be a really short amount of time, but it has to be consistent every week. You have to spend that 15 minutes or so just doing your checks and making sure everyone's on the right path. It will certainly tell you when the business is getting off path a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And it allows you to adapt and change things and maybe create extra accounts to be more of a buffer as well. And and even help even more so.
Thanks, Brendan and Katie. And that's exactly what I was going to say, Katie, as well, that it does also pay to work with a Profit First professional. So if you are needing to adjust those percentages, sometimes business owners might come a little unstuck. They're not quite sure which way to go, how much to adjust it by. But another review with a Profit First professional can make sure that those percentages are right, fitting the current needs of your business and your future goals. I'd like to move over a little bit to the membership side of Profit First. So we are a membership community. And what I'd like our Profit First coaches here to share is what do they love about the membership side of being a Profit First professional? So Fabio, what would you like to share?
It's a great community. I feel that there is always someone there for you. Doesn't matter what industry, what sort of problems, and it's great because you have people from different industries, so you get point of view from different people as well, rather than your own business. And it's sort of open up your mind completely out to solve a problem because someone else has experienced that in their industry. And everyone is all the time available, either through a Facebook group or chat or a phone call. Even all the coaches, they don't seem to don't have time for you. They always have time for you. And they remind you how important it is to to be part of this community as well. The resources obviously that we have available are amazing as well. You can find again anything from any industries and things that you can adapt and use in your industry. Yeah, it's sort of a sense of a very big family where you get all the support. And with some members, with personally, for example, I never met anyone personally. It's everything sort of online, but you know about them, about their business, about their life, because at the end, it's when you talk about business, you know about every all those aspects as well. And there is no difference, if you are just joining the community or if you've been in the community for 10 years, it doesn't make absolutely any difference in between those interactions.
Thanks,
Great.
Fabio.
Thank you.
Brendan, what would you like to share about your membership experience?
Michelle, it's definitely seeing you every time we hop on a call, on a weekly call.
Thanks, Brendan.
That's one of the benefits. No, so that is definitely, the community is amazing, like Fabio said. It really feels like a family. What I what I found really interesting is that there is always something new coming in. So we have a weekly call, we have weekly co-working sessions, so you really have that supportive environment and working through things. And we all as business owners and go through times where mentally we're struggling. We're not always on top of the world, and just having someone else there to give you a different perspective and an experience share really helps. I remember one of the things that I'd say would be a great I remember the first benefit, the first time we had a national call, and so we had a guest speaker on there, and the guest speaker was Mike. And I remember, it was just like, wow, this is the guy that I heard on the audio. It was a really cool moment. But we have the in-person conferences as well, and I got to meet, because through COVID, sorry to bring that word up, but through COVID, we spoke to each other all the time. We heard of all the challenges, and then when we got to meet recently, late last year, it was just really, really awesome to then meet in person. There really has a lot to be said for that. And I guess finally as well, I think the resources that have been put in, the energy and the effort that's been put into the membership and to the resources available for Profit First professionals just set them up for success. It certainly set me up for success. I feel really grateful to have that. And yeah, that's pretty much all I could say.
Thanks, Brendan. And Katie?
So much I could say about the membership. I agree. It is just like a family. I've been part of Profit First for just over 5 years now. So I remember our open office calls when there was Laura and there was a handful of us. And I still learn just as much as I did then as I do now, because everybody has a different perspective, and just hearing something that I've probably heard 10 times before, but through somebody else's lens, I'm like, oh, Fabio might say something from his hospitality perspective, and I'm like, oh, I could do this and this will work for my tradies. And so just that constant sharing of ideas. And again, with the resources, there's so many resources. And what I find is as well that every member is so giving with their own resources. So if we've used a resource and adapted it to work for our clients, we'll all come back and share, hey, we use this like this. And then other people will be like, oh, I could use it like that, or I could make this change and then that will work better. So it's just, for me, it's just that collaboration. And there's no, not once in my 5 years have I ever felt like somebody has not wanted to share what they've done, or it's like, yeah, here, I'll send it to you, have a copy, go for it. And that's something I think is really, really unique, and something that Laura and the team here have done really well to gather an amazing group of diverse people who are so willing to just be always open to learning from each other and sharing ideas and making resources and information that makes it better for our clients, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's our clients.
Thanks, Katie. And it's really is that real family. We call ourselves the Profit First family. And I find that it's not like it's competition between Profit First professionals. It really is collaboration between Profit First professionals. And Katie, I'd also like a little, sorry?
I was just going to say one more quick thing, but that's okay. I was just going to say that just on that competition thing, we've got another level of mastery that is in the Profit First community of another level, and you don't get that ego of, oh, you're a mastery member, you're not. Like, everyone's just there to help each other, and that just shows a testament of people that have stepped up to like take on that extra involvement of being a mastery member, because they just see so much value. So that's.
Thanks, Brendan. And Katie, would you like to touch on a little bit about the Mastery community as well, because you're a Mastery member?
Yeah, so I've been a Mastery member now for we're just finishing 2 years since we started, so we're going into our third. For me, it was a no-brainer. Anytime I can work with people in Profit First more, I'm going to do it. And from a Mastery perspective, we're working much more on our businesses and how do we, grow or do whatever it is we need to do. But again, like Brendan mentioned, it's not like it's secret squirrel mastery information and we don't share that with anybody. It just happens to be that we're a small core group of members who collaborate and then we share anyway. So it's just so much fun, because for me, I'm constantly pushed in a nice way and supported to get out of my comfort zone and to do things that I potentially wouldn't do. And I know once I kind of start to mention something in my mastery group, then I'm like committed. I have to figure it out, make it work, because I'm not only going to do it for myself, I'm going to share it with mastery. And then once we kind of get it to a place where it's going to be useful for others, then we're always happy to share with the rest of the group as well. So both levels are, I do not know, I would not have made it through the last 3 years in business without Profit First and without my mastery members. It just wouldn't have happened.
Thanks, Katie. And just one final question here for our coaches. So for those people that are listening at home, what is your one tip if they might be considering becoming a Profit First professional? What's your recommendation to them? Fabio?
Do it is the way to go. No, it takes, it allows you to sort of create a framework, as Brendan was saying before, within your business, and will allow you to be able to organize your life in a very different way. And obviously, the rewarding part, it will be probably the plus on top. And it's you're probably looking at 2 hours a week, 2-3 hours a week, maybe. Meanwhile, you are studying. Once obviously you get certified, probably you will need to do a little bit less or a little bit more, depends on what you're working on. But otherwise, there is always support. You don't feel pressure of doing things. So it's a great thing. Take the opportunity to do it.
Thanks, Fabio. Katie?
I agree. Just do it. Because of my experience, it's amazing when things go well, and that's all great. We want to have more money in the bank and all of that's a bonus. But when life throws you curveballs and things get very rough and bumpy, you want to have done this and you want to be a member before that happens, because it will absolutely help you through that and make that time much, much easier. Just come and join us. We're an amazing group, and we'll happily have any more amazing people who are ready and willing to help their clients make a real difference in their life.
Thanks, Katie. And Brendan, What's your recommendation?
I was just going to say that I've recommended a few people already to join. One of the things that just occurred to me as well is like I'm part of a few different organizations as well, and there's no question in when this comes around for renewal whether I'm going to renew again. It's not fake, and I'm not saying the other organizations are fake either. Just for the record, everyone else who, but it's just a really great community. That's why I recommend it to other people to join. Because it works. It's a great, through the highs and the lows. There's no question that I renew because I love it, and it's a great family.
Thanks, Brendan. And thank you to all our coaches for joining us today and sharing your tips and your stories and the transformations that you've made in your business and that of your clients. We truly do appreciate it. And if we do have other coaches that are watching our session today, or those who may watch the replay later on, if you are interested in finding out more about becoming a Profit First professional, we are open for new members until the 31st of May. I've just posted 2 links in the comments there. So the first one is if you do have any questions about perhaps how Profit First may work in your business, if you're considering becoming a Profit First professional, there's a link to book a Q&A call there. And if you've decided that, yes, this is me, I'm ready to join, there is another call that is an application interview. And you can book a call with one of the guides and we'll be able to step you through the interview process. So thank you, everyone, so much for joining us today. And we'll see you again at our next live.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.